The ink wasn't even dry on my divorce papers when I decided to throw the party. Not just any party, a full-blown, unapologetic divorce celebration. The kind that would make my ultra-conservative family clutch their pearls and gasp in horror. Perfect. My name is Sophie, and at 37, I finally found the courage to break free from a marriage that had slowly suffocated me for 12 years. Manuel hadn't been abusive. That would have been too obvious. Instead, he'd been a master of subtle control, of quiet manipulation, of making me feel like I was always slightly wrong about everything. "You've completely lost your mind," my sister Mackenzie's voice crackled through my phone speaker. "A divorce party? What will people think?" "That's exactly the point," I replied, sliding my credit card across the counter to the event planner. "I want people to think, to talk, to understand that divorce isn't something to be ashamed of. Mom and Dad are going to have a fit. When aren't they having a fit about something I do?" I signed the venue contract with a flourish. Remember when I chose marketing over law school? That was different. Or when I got that tiny butterfly tattoo? "Sophie, please." Or how about when I dyed my hair red for my 35th birthday? "Fine, make your point," Mackenzie huffed. "But this is social suicide. You're not just embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing all of us." I caught my reflection in the venue's window. A woman with determined green eyes and a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "I'm done living my life to protect everyone else's reputation." The event planner, a vibrant woman named Nicole, who happened to be my best friend since middle school, grinned as she filed away the paperwork. "The Riverside Hotel's grand ballroom, 3 weeks from Saturday. It's happening, honey." "I can't believe you're encouraging this madness," Mackenzie snapped, clearly hearing Nicole's excitement. "Goodbye, Mackenzie," I sang, ending the call mid-protest. Nicole high-fived me. "Your sister's going to blow a gasket when she sees the invitation design I've worked up. Think glitter bombs, but classy." My phone buzzed again, this time with my mother's familiar ringtone. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing the script. "Sophie, darling, we need to talk about this foolishness." "You know what's funny?" I said to Nicole, ignoring the persistent buzzing. "For 12 years, I dimmed my light because Manuel said I was too loud, too bold, too much. And my family? They loved it. They finally had the proper, subdued Sophie they'd always wanted. Well, proper and subdued Sophie can kiss my—" The door chimed, and my father strode in, his face flushed with anger. "Sophie Marie Hart, what is this nonsense I'm hearing about a divorce party?" I straightened my spine, channeling every ounce of confidence I'd rebuilt over the past year of therapy. "Hi, Dad. I see Mackenzie called you right on schedule." "This stops now," he demanded, his voice carrying that familiar authoritative tone that used to make me shrink. "We've tolerated your divorce, but this spectacle—" "Tolerated?" I laughed, the sound surprising even me. "You tolerated my divorce from a man who convinced me I was worthless? How generous of you." Nicole stepped between us, her presence solid and reassuring. "Mr. Hart, Sophie has signed the contracts. The party is happening." My father's face reddened further. "You're no daughter of mine if you go through with this shameful display." "Funny," I replied, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "That's exactly what Manuel used to say whenever I didn't behave exactly as he wanted." The comparison landed like a slap. My father stepped back, his expression flickering between anger and something else. Recognition, maybe? But it was gone in an instant. "You'll regret this," he warned, turning on his heel. "No, Dad," I called after him. "The only thing I regret is spending so many years trying to be the daughter you wanted instead of the woman I am." The door slammed behind him, and I released a shaky breath. "You okay?" Nicole squeezed my shoulder. I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram. With trembling fingers, I typed, "Save the date, Sophie Hart's Freedom Fest, because some endings deserve a beginning." I added the venue details and hit post before I could second-guess myself. "You just declared war," Nicole said, peering at my screen. "No," I corrected her. watching as the likes and comments started rolling in. I just declared independence. My phone exploded with notifications, shocked emojis from distant relatives, heart reactions from college friends, and one message from my colleague Brianna. Yas, queen! Need help planning? I make a mean divorce cake. I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in years. Let them talk. Let them judge. Let them clutch their precious pearls until the strings break. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't asking for permission to be myself, and it felt absolutely fantastic. We need something that screams freedom, but whispers taste, Nicole declared, spreading Pinterest boards across my dining room table. Brianna sat cross-legged on my couch, laptop balanced on her knees, scrolling through party inspiration. What about a butterfly release? Brianna suggested. You know, symbolism and all that? In February. I laughed, pouring more wine into our glasses. Those poor butterflies would drop dead faster than my marriage. The three of us had gathered for our first official party planning session, and my small apartment buzzed with possibility. And wine. Definitely wine. Oh my God! Nicole suddenly squealed, turning her phone screen toward us. Your Instagram post has gone viral. Look at these comments. I grabbed the phone, scrolling through hundreds of responses. Women sharing their own divorce stories, offering support, asking for advice. Men applauding the courage to start fresh. Even a few local news outlets requesting interviews. This is getting bigger than we planned, I admitted, feeling a mix of excitement and terror. My phone rang. Mackenzie again. I put it on speaker. Hey, have you completely lost your mind? She hissed. Mom's crying. Dad's threatening to write you out of his will. And I just got cornered at the grocery store by Mrs. Peterson asking if you're having some kind of mental breakdown. Tell Mrs. Peterson to mind her own, Brianna started, but I waved her quiet. Mackenzie, I'm not having this conversation again. The party is happening. You don't understand what you're doing to this family. Her voice cracked. Do you know what it's like being your sister? Always having to explain your rebellions? Rebellions? I laughed bitterly. Is that what we're calling basic self-respect now? Mom and Dad will never forgive you for this public humiliation. Maybe they should worry less about public humiliation and more about why their daughter felt trapped in a controlling marriage for 12 years, while they cheered from the sidelines. Silence crackled over the line. That's not fair, Mackenzie whispered. No, what's not fair is you calling to threaten me instead of asking if I'm okay. What's not fair is our parents caring more about their country club reputation than their daughter's happiness. What's not fair is, so if you go through with this party, Mackenzie cut in, her voice ice cold, there will be consequences. Family secrets work both ways, Sophie. The line went dead. Did she just threaten you? Brianna asked, eyes wide. That's Mackenzie's specialty, I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. Veiled threats wrapped in sisterly concern. Nicole grabbed my hands. Hey, look at me. We're doing this. Whatever secrets she thinks she has, whatever drama your family wants to stir up, we're doing this. Besides, Brianna added, what could she possibly reveal that's worse than being trapped in a loveless marriage for 12 years? My phone pinged with a text from my mother. Your father and I raised you better than this. Please don't force us to take action. God, they all sound like mob bosses, Brianna snorted, reading over my shoulder. Take action? What are they going to do, send you to your room? But I knew my family better than that. They were masters of subtle destruction, of quiet sabotage. Manuel had learned from the best. Okay, I said, straightening my shoulders. Let's make this party absolutely unforgettable. Brianna, you're handling the cake and catering. Nicole, you've got decorations and music. I'll handle the guest list and… Speech? Nicole suggested gently. I froze. Speech? Sophie, honey, you need to tell your story. All these women commenting on your post, they need to hear it from you. The real you, not the Instagram version. I don't know if I can… You can, Brianna interrupted. And you will. Because every woman who's ever felt trapped needs to hear that escape is possible. That happiness is possible. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Mackenzie. Last chance to cancel. Don't make me do this. I showed the message to my friends. "Oh, it is on," Brianna declared, typing furiously on her laptop. "I'm upgrading your cake to 3 tiers, with sparklers, and maybe a middle finger made of fondant." Nicole raised her wine glass. "To Sophie's Freedom Fest. May it be everything your family fears and more." We clinked glasses, laughing, but my hand trembled slightly. What secrets did Mackenzie think she could use against me? What action were my parents planning? But looking at my friends, Nicole with her fierce loyalty, Brianna with her unwavering support, I realized something important. Family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about who stands beside you when the blood relatives stand against you. "To freedom," I echoed, taking a deep drink of wine. "And to whatever consequences come with it." The grocery store was supposed to be safe territory, just a quick run for coffee and bread, nothing more. But there he was, Manuel, studying organic apples like they held the secrets of the universe. I froze in the produce section, my basket suddenly heavy in my hands. 2 years of therapy hadn't prepared me for this. "Sophie." He noticed me, his face arranged in that familiar expression of disappointed concern. "I heard about your celebration." "I'm sure you did." I reached for a bag of apples, refusing to let him drive me away from the fruit I came for. "The whole town has." "It's not too late to cancel." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You're better than this attention-seeking behavior." The words hit like a familiar slap. How many times had he used that phrase? "You're better than this." Translation: "You're embarrassing me." "Actually," I replied, meeting his eyes, "I'm exactly this. I always was. You just never let me show it." "Let you?" He laughed, but it wasn't kind. "I gave you everything: a beautiful home, financial security, social status." "A cage is still a cage, even if it's made of gold." An elderly woman with a cart paused nearby, pretending to examine tomatoes while obviously eavesdropping. "You've changed," Manuel said, shaking his head. "No, I've remembered who I was before you convinced me to forget." My phone buzzed. A text from Mackenzie. "Emergency family meeting at Mom and Dad's. Now. Non-negotiable." "Excuse me," I said to Manuel, "but my family's plotting against me, and I'd hate to miss it." I left him standing there, surrounded by organic produce and judgmental stares. 20 minutes later, I pulled into my parents' driveway, where Mackenzie's car was already parked. Taking a deep breath, I walked into the house I grew up in, following the sounds of heated discussion to the formal living room, the room reserved for serious family matters and holiday photos. "Finally," my mother said as I entered. "Sit down, Sophie." They were arranged like a tribunal. Mom and Dad on the antique love seat, Mackenzie perched on the armchair. One empty seat faced them all. "I'll stand, thanks." "We've been talking," my father began, his voice carefully measured, "about your recent choices." "My choices?" I laughed, like choosing to leave a controlling marriage, or choosing to celebrate my freedom. "Like choosing to humiliate this family," Mackenzie snapped. "Enough," Mom held up her hand. "Sophie, we've decided to make you an offer." I crossed my arms. "I'm listening. We'll give you $50,000, Dad said, "to cancel the party and take a quiet vacation instead, somewhere far away until this all blows over." The room spun slightly. "You're trying to bribe me?" "We're trying to save you from yourself." Mackenzie stood up. "Do you know what people are saying? Do you know what this is doing to Mom's position on the hospital board?" "Oh my God," I whispered. "That's what this is about? Mom's reputation?" It's about family," Mom insisted. "About protecting each other." Where was this protection when Manuel was slowly erasing who I was? Where was this family concern when I was crying myself to sleep every night? "Don't be dramatic." Mackenzie rolled her eyes. "Dramatic?" I pulled out my phone, opening Instagram. "Let's talk about dramatic. Let's talk about Dad's secretary from 3 years ago. What was her name? The one he took to that conference in Miami?" The color drained from my father's face. How did you? I have friends at your firm, Dad. Friends who've been waiting for someone to finally stand up to you. Are you blackmailing us? Mackenzie gasped. No, I'm showing you that your perfect family image is built on secrets and lies, and I'm done protecting them. My mother stood up, smoothing her skirt with trembling hands. Sophie, please, we can discuss this like adults. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm an adult, making an adult decision to celebrate my freedom. And if that threatens your carefully constructed facade of family perfection, maybe the problem isn't with my party. You'll regret this, Mackenzie warned. No, I said, heading for the door. I regret the years I spent trying to be the daughter you wanted, instead of the woman I am. But that stops now. As I reached my car, my phone lit up with a message from Nicole. Found the perfect DJ. Also, you won't believe who just RSVP'd yes to the party. I smiled, starting the engine. Let them plot and scheme. Let them try to bribe and threaten. Every attempt to stop me only made me more certain I was doing exactly what I needed to do. The party wasn't just a celebration anymore. It was a declaration of independence, and I was just getting started. Your father's affair is trending on Twitter, Nicole announced, bursting into my apartment without knocking. Someone leaked photos from the Miami conference. I nearly dropped the box of party decorations I was sorting. What? How? Anonymous account. She thrust her phone at me. But the timestamps match exactly what you mentioned at your parents' house yesterday. My hands shook as I scrolled through the posts. There was my father, looking much younger in his navy suit, arm wrapped around his former secretary, at various Miami locations. The captions were brutal. Family values champion caught in own web of lies. I didn't do this, I whispered. I know you didn't. Nicole squeezed my shoulder. But someone at your dad's firm definitely did. My phone erupted with Mackenzie's ringtone. You vindictive little snake! She screamed before I could even say hello. Are you happy now? Mom's in bed with migraines, Dad's law firm is in damage control, and I didn't leak those photos, Mackenzie. Right, she sneered. They just happened to surface right after you threatened Dad with them? Actually, I said, my voice steady, they surfaced right after you all tried to bribe me to cancel my party. Funny timing, isn't it? The doorbell rang. Brianna stood there, holding a sample cake and wearing an expression of pure glee. Turn on the local news, she mouthed. I have to go, I told Mackenzie, hanging up despite her protests. Brianna grabbed the remote, flipping to Channel 5. There, in high definition, was my father's scandal splashed across the screen, complete with interviews from former employees about the toxic culture at his firm. Holy shit, Nicole breathed. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. We need to talk, alone. Meet me at Rosemary's Cafe in 30 minutes. Don't go, Brianna warned. It's a trap. I have to, I replied, grabbing my keys. But you're both coming with me. Rosemary's Cafe was our family's neutral ground, the place we went when we needed to discuss difficult things away from home. Mom sat in our usual corner booth, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. They can wait at another table, she said, eyeing Nicole and Brianna. They stay with me. Mom sighed but didn't argue. Your father's firm is considering asking him to take early retirement. His biggest client threatened to leave this morning. I'm sorry, but let me finish. She held up a hand. For 35 years, I've kept his secrets. I've smiled at charity functions while he flirted with younger women. I've hosted dinner parties, knowing he was texting his latest conquest under the table. I convinced myself it was worth it. For the family name. For our position in society. I stared at her, speechless. And then you, she continued, her voice cracking. My wild, beautiful daughter, who never quite fit our mold. You found the courage to leave your controlling husband. To celebrate your freedom. To stop pretending. Mom! I didn't come here to ask you to cancel the party, she said, pulling something from her purse. I came to RSVP. She slid an envelope across the table. Inside was her completed response card, marked attending with a +1. What about Dad? I asked. Your father's secrets finally caught up with him. She smiled sadly. Maybe it's time mine did too. I've contacted a divorce attorney. Nicole and Brianna, who had been pretending not to eavesdrop, both gasped. You're leaving him? Let's just say your party inspired me. Mom reached for my hand. But Sophie, be careful. Your father and sister, they won't take this well. They'll try to stop you, stop us. As if on cue, my phone lit up with a news alert. Local divorce party goes viral. Exclusive interview with ex-husband reveals troubled history. Manuel's talking to the press? I clicked the link, reading his carefully crafted narrative about my emotional instability and attention-seeking behavior. Of course he is, Mom said grimly. Your father probably arranged it. Then let's give them something to really talk about, Brianna piped up, pulling out her phone. I know someone at the local paper who'd love to hear about a mother-daughter double divorce celebration. Mom's eyes widened. You mean, only if you want to, I said quickly. This is your story too. She was quiet for a moment, then straightened her shoulders, a gesture so familiar it made my heart ache. Do it. I'm done hiding in my husband's shadow. As Brianna made the call, I looked at my mother, really looked at her, and saw something I'd never noticed before. The same fire that burned in me, carefully banked, but never quite extinguished. The party's in 3 days, I said. Are you ready for this? She squeezed my hand. Darling, I've been ready for 35 years. They're trying to cancel the venue. Nicole burst into my office, waving her phone. Your father's law firm represents the Riverside Hotel's parent company. I looked up from my computer, where I'd been answering the hundreds of supportive messages flooding my social media. Can they do that? They're trying, but, she grinned wickedly, I had a feeling something like this might happen. Remember my cousin who works for the morning show? My eyes widened. Nicole, what did you do? Check your email. We're going live tomorrow morning. National television. You, your mom, and your story of breaking free from toxic family dynamics. The hotel wouldn't dare cancel after that. It would be PR suicide. My hands trembled as I opened the email. Dad's going to lose his mind. That's kind of the point, isn't it? My phone buzzed. Mackenzie again. I put it on speaker. Cancel the interview, she demanded. Or I swear I'll— You'll what? I interrupted. Tell everyone I'm crazy? Manuel already tried that. Tell them about my rebellious phase in college? Mom's already going public with her story. What's left, Mackenzie? What about the real reason Manuel left? My blood ran cold. What are you talking about? Oh, please. The fertility treatments? The miscarriages? The fact that you couldn't give him the family he wanted? Nicole's face darkened with rage, but I held up a hand to stop her from speaking. Go ahead, I said calmly. Tell everyone. Tell them how Manuel blamed me for every lost pregnancy. Tell them how our parents sided with him, how you all made me feel like a failure. Tell them everything, Mackenzie, because every woman who's ever felt broken or less than needs to hear that story too. Silence crackled over the line. You've lost your mind, Mackenzie finally whispered. No, I've found it. Finally. After she hung up, Nicole hugged me tight. You okay? Better than okay, I pulled back, wiping my eyes. What time is the interview? 7 a.m. Your mom's already confirmed she'll be there. My phone pinged with a text from Brianna. Cake disaster, need you at the bakery now. 20 minutes later, I walked into sweet chaos. Brianna stood amid a sea of purple fondant, looking devastated. Someone called and canceled our order, she explained. Said they were you. The baker had already destroyed the original design. Let me guess. They paid in cash? She nodded. But here's the thing. The baker feels so bad, she's offering to work through the night to make something even better. And she's throwing in a second cake for your mom. I surveyed the mess of purple frosting. Can I help? For the next 4 hours, we worked alongside the baker, creating something more meaningful than the original design. Each tier told a story. Broken chains in fondant, butterflies taking flight, and at the top, 2 phoenixes rising. It's perfect, I breathed, looking at the finished design. My phone lit up with a news alert. Local law firm partner steps down amid scandal. Herbert Hart announces early retirement. Your dad's out? Brianna peered at my screen. Looks like it. I opened the article, reading quickly. The firm's launching an internal investigation into workplace culture and harassment. Good, Brianna said firmly. Now, about tomorrow's interview. We need to get you camera ready. I'm thinking that red dress that Manuel always said was too bold. Perfect. We spent the evening at Nicole's place, prepping for the interview. Mom joined us, looking younger somehow, lighter. Your father moved out today, she announced, accepting a glass of wine. He's staying with Mackenzie. Are you okay? I asked. She smiled. A real smile, not her usual social mask. I haven't been okay in decades, but I will be. Ladies, Nicole raised her glass. Tomorrow we go nuclear, to burning it all down and rising from the ashes. To freedom, Mom added softly. My phone buzzed one last time. An unknown number. The message made my heart stop. Sophie, it's Manuel. We need to talk before tomorrow, please. There are things you don't understand. Don't you dare respond, Brianna warned, reading over my shoulder. I won't, I promised, turning off my phone. Tomorrow isn't about him, or Dad, or Mackenzie. It's about every woman who's ever been told to be less, to want less, to accept less. It's about truth, Mom added. And revenge, Brianna grinned. No, I corrected her, thinking of the Phoenix cake, of Mom's brave decision, of all the messages from women sharing their own stories of breaking free. It's about justice, and it's about damn time. We stayed up late, planning and preparing, 4 women on the verge of changing everything. Tomorrow, we'd tell our story to the world. Tomorrow, we'd show them what happens when you try to cage a phoenix. Tomorrow, we'd set everything on fire. The Riverside Hotel's grand ballroom sparkled with purple and silver decorations. Butterflies suspended from the ceiling, catching light from the crystal chandeliers. Brianna's Phoenix cake commanded attention from its spotlight position, while guests filtered in, many wearing Team Sophie shirts we hadn't even created. They'd made them themselves. The live stream has over 50,000 viewers already, Nicole announced, adjusting my dress strap. And Jared Divorce Fest is trending nationally after our morning TV appearance, where Mom and I had shared our stories of breaking free. The party had evolved from local scandal to national movement. Women were hosting their own freedom celebrations across the country, inspired by our story. Sophie? A familiar voice made me freeze. I turned to find Manuel standing there, looking uncomfortable in his expensive suit. Can we talk? Actually, Nicole stepped between us. She's busy being fabulous and free. You can exit the way you came in. I have a right to tell my side, he insisted. You already did, I replied coolly. On the news, remember? How did you phrase it? Emotionally unstable attention seeker? That's not... I didn't mean... Yes, you did. You always meant it. Every time you told me I was too loud, too bold, too much, you meant it. You just didn't expect me to finally realize that too much is exactly enough. The crowd around us had grown silent, phones recording every word. This isn't you, he tried one last time. The Sophie I married would never... The Sophie you married doesn't exist anymore. You killed her, piece by piece, day by day. But look around. I gestured to the room full of supporters. This is who I really am. This is who I always was beneath your control. Security appeared at my signal, escorting him out as the crowd erupted in cheers. That was amazing, Brianna squealed, hugging me. And totally caught on about 50 different phones. The music shifted, and Nicole grabbed the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor, the Phoenix herself, Sophie. I stepped onto the small stage, heart pounding as I faced the sea of faces, both in person and through countless live streams. Thank you all for coming, I began. But before I could continue, the ballroom doors burst open. Mackenzie strode in, looking like fury in designer heels. Really, Sophie? Security? Against your own family? You weren't invited, I said into the microphone, letting everyone hear. Neither was Dad, by the way, so don't bother with the grand entrance, Father. Our father, halfway through the door, stopped short. You've torn this family apart, Mackenzie accused, her voice carrying through the silent room. Are you happy now? No, Mom's voice rang out as she emerged from the crowd. I tore this family apart. Years ago, when I taught my daughters that keeping up appearances was more important than being true to themselves. When I showed them that a woman's worth was measured by her ability to stay quiet and small. Mom, Mackenzie whispered, what are you doing? I'm doing what Sophie had the courage to do first. I'm telling the truth. Mom joined me on stage, taking my hand. My daughter isn't destroying our family. She's showing us how broken it's been all along, and I, for one, am done pretending. The crowd erupted in applause. Phones captured every moment as Mackenzie's face crumpled, our father's mask of authority finally cracking. You don't understand what you're doing, he started, but Mom cut him off. I understand perfectly. I understand that I watched you break our daughter's spirit the same way you broke mine. I understand that Mackenzie's perfection is just another cage you built. I understand that tonight isn't just Sophie's Independence Day. It's mine, too. Mackenzie looked between our parents, tears streaming down her face. For a moment, I saw past her anger to the scared little girl who'd learned too early that love was conditional on compliance. Mackenzie, I said softly into the microphone, there's room up here for you, too. There's always been room for the real you. She took a step forward, then another. Dad grabbed her arm, but she yanked free. She looked around at the cameras, the crowd, the expectations crushing her. I can't. She ran out, leaving Dad standing alone in the doorway. Herbert, Mom said firmly, I believe you were just leaving. As security escorted him out, I turned to the crowd. This party isn't just about divorce. It's about breaking free from anyone who tries to dim your light. It's about rising from the ashes of who they told you to be and becoming who you really are. The room exploded in cheers, and as the music started again, I caught a glimpse of Mackenzie through the window, sitting alone in her car. Sometimes freedom comes in stages. Sometimes phoenixes need to watch others fly before they find their own wings. But tonight, in this room full of light and truth and power, we were all learning to soar. 1 million views, Nicole announced, refreshing her phone screen. The video of your confrontation with Manuel just hit 1 million, and the moment with your mom? 2 million and counting. The party was in full swing, the dance floor packed with women, and quite a few men, celebrating not just my freedom, but their own stories of breaking free. The phoenix cake had been cut, its layers revealing vibrant colors inside, just like the truth beneath our family's perfect facade. Sophie! Brianna rushed over, practically bouncing. You need to see this. Mackenzie just went live on Instagram. My stomach dropped as Nicole pulled up the feed. There was my sister, sitting in her car, makeup streaked with tears. I've spent my whole life being the perfect daughter, she was saying, her voice shaking. The one who followed all the rules, who never caused problems, who smiled and nodded and played her part. And where did it get me? Divorced at 34, just like Sophie, but too scared to admit it until now. What? I gasped. Mackenzie's divorced. 3 months ago, she continued on screen. But Dad said we had to keep it quiet. For the family name. For appearances. Always for appearances. The ballroom had grown quiet. Phones everywhere streaming Mackenzie's confession. My sister is in there, celebrating her freedom, while I'm hiding in my car because I'm too afraid to claim mine. But Sophie, she looked directly at the camera. If you're watching this, I need to tell you something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I tried to stop you. I'm sorry I threatened you. I'm sorry I've been Dad's puppet for so long. I was already moving, Nicole and Brianna right behind me. We found Mackenzie exactly where I'd last seen her, in her car in the parking lot. I knocked on her window. She looked up, eyes wide, then quickly ended her live stream. You could have told me, I said as she stepped out of the car. I couldn't tell anyone, she whispered. Dad said he'd cut me off completely if I went public with the divorce. And I didn't know how to be anything but his perfect daughter. Well, I linked my arm through hers. Want to learn how to be imperfect and free instead? She hesitated, looking at the hotel entrance. Everyone in there hates me. No one hates you, Nicole assured her. Trust me, your live confession just changed everything. Team Mackenzie is already trending. Besides, Brianna added, nothing says freedom like two divorced sisters giving their controlling father the middle finger. Mackenzie laughed, a real laugh, not her usual polite titter. God, that felt good. Speaking of Dad, he's probably having an aneurysm watching my live stream. Good, I grinned, ready to give him another reason to fume. Inside, the crowd parted as we entered. Mom rushed over, enveloping Mackenzie in a hug. My brave girls, she whispered, holding us both. Both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole had somehow gotten hold of the microphone again. Please welcome the newest member of our Freedom Revolution, Mackenzie. The cheers were deafening. Phones recorded as Mackenzie grabbed my hand and raised it high, both of us laughing through tears. Speech! Someone shouted, and soon the whole room was chanting. Mackenzie looked terrified, but I squeezed her hand and led her to the stage. I don't know what to say, she admitted into the microphone. Tell the truth, I suggested. It's liberating. She took a deep breath. The truth is, I've been living a lie. We all have. Our perfect family, our perfect lives. It was all carefully constructed fiction. But watching my sister stand up, watching her celebrate her truth instead of hiding it, it made me realize something. The cage isn't locked. We just think it is because we've been told so many times that we belong inside it. Mom joined us on stage, taking Mackenzie's other hand. 3 generations of women, she said into the microphone, breaking free on the same night. If that's not worth celebrating, I don't know what is. To freedom, someone shouted, and the cry was taken up by the crowd. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. You've destroyed everything. Mackenzie read it over my shoulder and grabbed the phone. Her fingers flew across the screen as she typed. No, Dad. We've just started building something real. She hit send, then turned to the crowd. Now, who's ready to dance? As the music started again, I watched my sister, really watched her, as she let herself move freely, laugh loudly, exist fully for maybe the first time in her adult life. Sometimes the greatest act of revolution is simply being yourself. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is living well, living true, living free. And sometimes, just sometimes, freedom is contagious. The morning sun streamed through the windows of my new apartment as I scrolled through the hundreds of messages still flooding my inbox. Women sharing their stories, planning their own freedom celebrations, finding their voices. Coffee delivery, Mackenzie called, letting herself in with her new key. She'd traded her designer suits for jeans and a t-shirt that read, Perfectly Imperfect. You're early, I noted, accepting the steaming cup. Couldn't sleep. Dad's lawyers delivered the final paperwork this morning. She settled onto my couch. He's really doing it, cutting us both off completely. How does it feel? Terrifying. Liberating. I got a job interview next week, a real one, not some country club board position. The door opened again as Mom breezed in, followed by Nicole and Brianna carrying breakfast pastries. Your father's trying to get the country club to revoke my membership, Mom announced, looking more amused than concerned. Apparently, divorced women are a threat to moral decency. Well, he's not wrong, Brianna grinned. We're absolutely threatening the patriarchy's moral decency, one divorce party at a time. My phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. I put it on speaker. Is this Sophie? A woman's voice asked. This is Rachel from Women's Day magazine. We'd like to do a feature story on you and your family. Breaking Free, How 3 Women Shattered Generational Trauma. I looked at Mom and Mackenzie, who both nodded. We're interested, I replied. But we have conditions. We want to highlight other women's stories too. This isn't just about us anymore. That's exactly what we were hoping for, Rachel said. We've been following the movement your party started. Women across the country are hosting their own freedom celebrations, starting support groups, sharing resources. Speaking of resources, Mackenzie cut in, tell her about the foundation, Sophie. We're launching the Phoenix Foundation, I explained to Rachel, using the proceeds from our story rights and donations to help women escape controlling situations, whether it's marriage, family, or career. Legal aid, housing assistance, emotional support, and therapy, Mom added firmly. Lots of therapy. After finalizing details with Rachel, I hung up to find everyone staring at me. What? Check your email, Nicole said, practically vibrating with excitement. There, in my inbox, was a message from Manuel's law firm. My hands shook as I opened it. He's dropping the defamation lawsuit threats, I read aloud. And he's issuing a public apology? Turns out, Brianna smirked, threatening to sue someone for telling the truth about your controlling behavior doesn't look great when they've become the face of a national movement against exactly that kind of manipulation. Dad's next, Mackenzie said quietly. The firm's investigation is expanding. 3 more women have come forward about affairs. Are you okay? I asked her. She considered this. You know what? I am. For the first time, I'm actually okay with not being okay. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. Mom squeezed her hand. Being real is better than being right. My phone pinged with a text from Dad. This ends now. Family meeting, non-negotiable. I showed it to everyone. Should we go? Mackenzie asked. No, Mom said firmly. We're done letting him dictate the terms of our lives. If he wants to talk, he can come to us, all of us, together. Speaking of together, Nicole pulled out her tablet. The Phoenix Foundation website just went live. You might want to see this. The homepage displayed a simple message. Freedom isn't just about breaking free. It's about building something new from the ashes of what held you down. Below it were thousands of comments from women sharing their stories, offering support, finding community. We did this, I whispered. No, Mackenzie corrected me. You did this. You took the first step. You showed us it was possible. And now? Brianna asked. Now we keep going, Mom said. We help other women find their wings. We build something better than what we left behind. To the Phoenix Foundation, Nicole raised her coffee cup. To freedom, Mackenzie added. To truth, Mom smiled. To family, I said, looking at these women who had become my strength, my support, my true family. The kind we choose, the kind we build, the kind that lifts us up instead of holding us down. Outside, the sun painted the sky in brilliant colors, like a phoenix spreading its wings across the morning. Inside, we sat together, broken pieces reformed into something stronger, something real, something free. Sometimes the happy ending isn't riding off into the sunset. Sometimes it's standing in your truth, surrounded by people who love you for exactly who you are, building something beautiful from the ashes of what tried to break you. And that's not just a happy ending, that's a new beginning.